Twisted Tales.
Twisted Tales. Twisted Tales. Hell, blood and bones and unknown trails. Twisted Tales. Hell, true got teeth and drags and nails. Urban riding, back road sin. Dead men talking through the wind. Cursed objects, killer law. Once you hear it, you want more. No fairy dust, no happy end. Just how the nightmare really went. Turn it up, don't ask why.
Good evening, everybody. This is Jeremy, and welcome to another amazing episode of Twisted Tales here on the All Access Network. And before I get started, I wanted to tell everybody that I'm very proud to admit that I am one of the official podcasts for the Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention coming up this September. I'm very proud to be part of this event, so I'm hoping everybody will be able to stop by and see me. But without any further ado, I want to bring on my guest. She is a fellow member of the Wicked Wednesdays family. She has a Paramystic podcast in the mornings. This is Miss Kristina Bloom. Come on in, please.
Hey, Jeremy. How are you?
Good. How are you this evening?
I'm fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Hey, Matt. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Matt.
So yeah,
Wow.
for those,
let me just say congratulations. One of the podcasters that made that is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to not just representing Twisted Tales, but also Wicked Wednesdays and the All Access Network. I plan on, I'm going to be networking and marketing all three of the brands while I'm out there, you know, in Maine. And it's an opportunity to help everybody grow, you know. Hey,
That's
Jason.
amazing.
You know, I really love it. I'm a people person. I like to connect with people. So it's gonna be an amazing event, and I'm looking forward to representing all three brands. You know?
Yeah, I wish I could be there this year. I was there last year. It was amazing. It was wow.
Yeah. If it's anywhere near as busy as it was last year, I'm gonna have my work cut out for me.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah.
So for those who don't get a chance to see you in the morning, you are part of our Wicked Wednesdays family with the Paramystic podcast at 11 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. your time.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you right off the bat, for those who don't know you, I'd like to ask you, like, how did you get started in the metaphysical world?
Well, it started as a child with premonition dreams, where I would have the same dream repeatedly, and every time I did, some member of the family I didn't even know would have crossed over.
Yeah.
So it started when I was about 3, I think. 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Really young.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it just as it just kind of grew, and you know, of course we all go through our things, right? So teenage addict, did everything in my power to make the voices stop. They never stopped. They just got scarier. But after I got clean and sober in 1985, I realized I was going to have to embrace this in order to stay sober, in order to keep my life on track, because it wasn't going to stop. So as much as I tried to make it stop, it wouldn't. So here I am. This is what I signed up for in this lifetime: the psychic ability, the sensitivities, all of it. So yeah.
No, it's really, really an amazing thing, you know, if you think about it, because you have such a deep connection to the metaphysical plane. Because I was reading all about like all the different classes that you teach, and we're going to get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But so you started discovering your abilities at a very young age,
right?
And now, were you experiencing like spirits directly, or were you getting voice? Like, what was your first like connection to like the spiritual plane? Was it like?
Well, I think for me, consciously, my parents bought a house at auction when I was very, very little, like maybe 2 years old, and the lady who had owned it, when the house went into probate, but she died in the bathroom. She actually had a heart attack while taking a bath, and so I always knew she was there. I could see her, I could hear her. She was a nice old lady, but,
Yeah.
yeah, that's, literally my whole life for as long as I can remember, I've had contact with spirit.
That is crazy. So
Yeah.
getting actually seeing the woman who passed away in the house during the probate. Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I was 2 when we moved into that house, and, I'm telling you that the entire 11 years we lived there, I never shut the door completely to the bathroom. It was like I just couldn't make myself shut the door the whole way. I'd leave it cracked open just a little bit just because I don't know, but
Because
she was in
you
there.
weren't sure what was going to happen next, and
Right, pretty much, yeah, yeah.
then like you said, you kept developing more and more. And now, were you hearing more and more voices as it kept going? Like, was it different people that you were connecting with, or was it the same person that was getting more aggressive with the conversation? Or
Well, she never really talked to me, I just knew she was there, I could see her.
oh,
She
okay,
was just there. My grandparents also lived in a haunted house. They inadvertently built a house on a Native American site. My grandfather had a cigar box of broken ceramic and, like jars and, arrowheads and that kind of stuff that he dug up when he dug up the basement by hand
oh
in
wow,
1940.
oof,
Um, so, yeah, I mean, and he found all these things and he just put them in a box in the basement, and their house always had, like, native spirits in it and different relatives coming and going, and I grew up with it, and I think the difference between someone like me and other people is that it's not just that I grew up with it, it's that I was acknowledging that I was growing up with it. I
right,
was aware of it. So,
okay. And
yeah.
you said you tried to run away from it and try to get away and try to
Yeah.
keep it away from you. But when did you decide to, you know what, I'm just going to embrace what I know and what's going on? Because it seems like when you've embraced it, it transformed you into a totally different person.
It did. When I was about 18 or 19,
And
I finally just embraced it and just went, "All right, this is just the way it's going to be." And it's like I've been a professional psychic now for 26 years.
okay,
Before that, I tried many different occupations to try to see where I fit. This is where I fit. This is
that,
it.
that's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
Hello, Jeff, the
Hey, Jeff.
paranormal Joe from Ohio. Wow, and I was so you it said one of your abilities, and I find it truly amazing because I also am able to do it, but not
Mhm.
anywhere near channeling. But it said you do trance channeling.
Trance channeling, yes.
Could you explain to me what trance channeling is all about?
Absolutely, yes. Trance channeling is when a higher being, or I'm gonna say a higher frequency being, we'll put it that way, comes and speaks through me. I move my consciousness out of the way, and someone else comes through and uses my body to speak, to share
Oh wow,
messages, to answer questions. Hey, Anthony.
oh wow. When did you realize that you had that particular?
Oh, that I remember very clearly. That was, 2007. I was hosting a women's study group in my home, and we were using a book. I actually don't even remember the name of the book at this point, but I was someone was talking in my ear, spirit talking in my ear, and
Yeah.
me trying to get the message out to these ladies, and apparently I wasn't doing a very good job. They all looked confused, and this happened really fast for me. Like, I opened my eyes 45 minutes later, not knowing what happened, had no memory of what happened, and a room full of women sitting there going, because a spirit came and channeled through me, and someone had the presence of mind to take notes. So I at least had a little bit of a idea of what happened. So that was my
Okay.
first time channeling.
Now, I wanted to ask you because I know we had a previous conversation before when I was actually when you go into your trance,
Hmm.
you would you know where do you go? Like
I
what
have
do
no idea.
you don't have like a like like
No.
like spiritual like you don't know where your spirit like you don't have like a
Well,
any
I know
energy.
I don't go very far. During the channeling, I have
Yeah.
some awareness of what's going on, but afterwards, I really don't have much memory of what happened or what was said.
Okay, I mean, when I
Yeah.
channel, I tend to get these like dream states, like either I'm walking down a
Mhm.
hotel and opening doors, or whether I'm looking up through a well and like seeing the shadows above talking, and then I try to find my way out, and that's when I come back. I didn't know if you experienced anything like that, like if you're like when your soul's not in like when your self isn't in your body and your body's being used as a vessel. I don't know if you had like an alternate like state of mind where you might be seeing something like that.
I have no memory of where I go.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. No memory at all of where I go.
I'm imagining that the
Yeah.
women who watched that must have been picking their jaws up off the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when you channel, have you had any bad experiences channeling? As far as
Trans channeling? No.
yeah, no,
No.
you haven't had any energy come into you that maybe you wanted to
Oh,
cause.
that's not allowed.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Actually, I did have one experience with that, which is why it's not allowed.
oh,
I was driving actually down the Pacific Highway, and
okay.
something jumped into my body while I was driving, and I managed to get off the road, get
Yeah,
off the highway into a parking lot. I'm surprised nobody called the police or ambulance or something, because I got out of my car and just screamed, "Get out of my body," at the top of my lungs in a Target parking lot. So, it was thank goodness they, didn't call the police or anything, but that was when I realized I needed to have a conscious contract with the universe, and I literally sat down pen to paper and wrote one out, like, "You can't do that when I'm driving, you can't do it without permission, you can't do it when I'm cooking," you know, safety things, you can't. That's not
right.
okay. And so, my end of it is I will do what you ask me to, but we're going to have it set up
Okay,
so that I'm not taken by surprise like that.
that that's amazing. I thank God I've never experienced one in the middle of a driving or something like that. I can't even imagine the fear that must have been going through you when in the middle of driving an
Yeah,
automobile.
it was absolute panic. Yeah,
Ooh.
and I had my 7-year-old in the car at the time.
Okay, that makes it even worse. I didn't even.
Yeah,
Not only is it your own life that that's being in danger, but it's the life of your loved
right,
one in the back. And
right.
oh my God. So I see that you also do gallery readings,
Yes.
right? So I wanted to ask because I never really did it before. Um, what do you do to prepare for a gallery reading, like versus what you would do for like a solo one-on-one reading? What do you prepare differently for a gallery reading? Like,
No, it's
what's
actually the
no?
same process.
So what kind
It
of
is
process do you go through to get ready for a reading?
I do a guided meditation, one that I wrote myself, so I talk myself through it,
Okay,
where I just pull down universal energy down through my body, down into the core of the earth, connecting with crystals in the core of the earth, and then bring that energy back up and connect out to the universe again. Then I'm perfectly balanced between heaven and earth.
well no, that's awesome. So you open up like
Yeah,
it's like a perfect channel that you have all set up, and you designed it yourself. That's even better.
right.
So
Using the chakra system. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I was always taught to use like pretend you're like your tree, and then you put the roots in, and then up
Yep.
through the light from the crown and all that kind of stuff. So it's
It's the
almost
same
similar,
same
but
concept. Yep, same concept.
yeah, my God. I
Yeah.
was looking at your website earlier, and
Mhm.
I saw that you offer a lot of different classes. Now, when did you start getting into the teaching side of the metaphysical?
Ooh, again, that'd be 2007.
Oh wow, everything
Yeah,
happened at once, huh?
that was a big year.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, a lady that I had met at a drum circle actually, called me and asked me to teach her how to connect to those who had crossed over. Her son had passed in an a drowning accident earlier that year, and she wanted to connect with him. And so I said, I meant to say no,
Yeah.
because I had no idea how I was going to teach something I do automatically, you know. So I meant to say no, but I opened my mouth to say no, and yes came out. So here we are. And, I'm like, okay, do you mind if I advertise and bring in more people? She said, no, that'd be great. So 6 weeks later, I had 16 people show up in my living room for a class.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you've
I
been
was,
teaching consistently. Oh, hello, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
So you've been teaching consistently for like the last 19 years now?
19 years. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool. It really is.
Yeah.
So
And that list of classes that you see, that's
yeah,
because of the way that I teach. So when I teach a class, let's say I teach it on Monday night and I'm going to teach another one next Monday night,
yeah.
the people who are in that class choose the topic.
Oh wow.
That's how there got to be that whole list of topics.
Yeah. And I hope you don't mind, but I wanted to go over a good amount of those because
Yeah.
I'm interested in, like, maybe you can give me this like your interpretation so that I can, because I'm very interested in some of these, and
Okay.
the first one on the list, and we mentioned it when we were talking out back with Gwen earlier, the Akashic records. I've heard this mentioned several times from many different either like Facebook posts or but I don't necessarily understand Akashic records. Could you explain the Akashic records to me?
Sure. The Akashic records are the records of our soul. It's the record of our soul's existence. So you can look into past lives through the Akashic records. You can look at um, sorry, I looked at the I got distracted by comments.
That's
You
all
can
good.
look you can look at your purpose for this lifetime,
Yeah.
because your contract for this lifetime is in your Akashic records. It's
Okay.
your contract for every lifetime you've had is in the Akashic records. But, that's one of the main reasons people want to go into their Akashic record or look in is, what is my purpose? What am I doing here? I feel like I'm just here and I don't have a reason for it, So that's
Oh,
one of the reason. And the other people want to know things like, do I have contracts with somebody else in my life who's, been difficult but doesn't seem to go away? Is this a contract? What am I supposed to learn about this? All of that is in the Akashic records.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've heard it mentioned so many times, and I wanted to get a better understanding. So it's basically your life's contract that we all have one, obviously, and
Mhm.
I mean, are we even supposed to know everything that's in there, realistically speaking?
Probably not. And I don't get access to anything you're not supposed to know.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, because I mean, obviously, there have been previous incarnations of mankind before this one. We've touched on that before, and you know, um, does the Akashic record change every time that we like move into a different body,
Well,
a different plane of existence, or
this is the way that I see it. I see it like going into a huge marble library. So every lifetime is a volume in
okay,
your room in the
yeah,
library. And we all have a room in the library. So
okay,
however many lifetimes you've had, that's how many volumes are in your room.
okay,
So if you wanted to look into past lives, we can do it that way. I also have other ways to do that are quicker and easier,
yeah,
but that is a possibility. And you can see if you have contracts with people, karmic contracts from other lifetimes that
okay.
play out in this lifetime. That's another thing people want to know.
That's amazing. Sorry, I know I seem fascinated. I am fascinated by it because I'm actually getting more of an understanding and more of a
Right.
visual picture of what this is all about. Basically, it's the book of your life. Here's your Akashic record,
Right.
and that's pretty cool. It really is. And I don't know if I want to know everything that's in there because I kind of like to see
Be
each page
surprised.
unfold as it goes. Because
Yeah.
I started off doing one thing and then I moved on to something else, and now I'm doing this and I'm enjoying this to the utmost. And who knows what the next chapter is going to be from here? But
Right,
you know,
exactly, and I don't think that we get all those specifics. I mean, you let's say your purpose is to help people. That's a
Right.
pretty blank statement, right? Like
Right.
that's
Exactly.
very broad statement. What's in your records might not be how you help people, just that you do.
Okay. So
So that
it's a
leaves a lot of choice open for you as to how to do that.
it's kind of like a bullet point thing.
Yeah.
You don't get all the details. You need to figure the details out for yourself, but you might get
Yes.
pushed in that direction that you're supposed to go.
Right.
Oh wow. Whew. Okay, that's a lot for the old brain to take on. All right. Now, is that tied into like I saw you have past life exploration?
Right.
Is that
Well, okay, this why I call it an exploration rather than regression,
right?
because theoretically, my understanding is that all lifetimes are happening simultaneously. There is no past, present, linear time, right?
Ooh, okay, yeah, I've heard that
So
story.
it's a lot to wrap your head around. I get that.
Right.
But going into an other life exploration, you can see where different lifetimes are impacting the lifetime that you're in, and vice versa. The lifetime that you're in impacting other lifetimes that are all
Okay.
happening at the same time.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I had a follow up question to that.
Okay.
So when you're sleeping and you're dreaming, are
Uh-huh.
your dreams a linear lifetime that you're living? Just because I know sometimes your dreams don't necessarily. I mean, it's different. You could dream of you being in a certain situation. Is your dream state a different like a linear lifetime that you're visiting while you're in your unconscious state, or
Sometimes.
is it?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's other lifetimes. Um, sometimes it's just trying to make sense of what happened during the day. There's all different kinds of things that happen while we're dreaming, and
Right.
some of it is just trying to process maybe your day, where you dream about something that happened, or dream about somebody you had an interaction with, something like that. That's the brain processing what's been happening in your life. The other type of dreaming, that this is my understanding, and I'm definitely not an expert at this, but my understanding is that you can visit other lifetimes in your dreams. You can go and experience like different learnings in your dream,
Okay.
that kind of thing. You can go to school basically in your dreams out there in the universe somewhere, where you're contacting higher frequency beings and whatever. But I have had dreams where, and it's usually, I'm going to say this, it's usually when I'm falling asleep or when I'm waking up, that kind of twilight zone
Yes.
area where you're kind of in and out, where I have this life, but when I'm asleep, I'm in that other life. Different people, different circumstances. I know all those people when I'm there, but I don't know any of the people in my life now here when I'm there. I just know that there's another life.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing because I've had several dreams where it's like either back in the old school times or it's in a different place that I've never been to before, but I can see it clear as day. I can see detail. I can interact with people. So that's why I was wondering if
Does
you're
it
in your
feel
dream state.
familiar?
What's that?
Does it feel familiar?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I had a dream when I felt like I was back in like the Civil War time because and when I went, when you go to like places like Gettysburg, it feels like you've been there before. Like it just I don't even know how to explain it because I've never picked up a gun in my life as an adult
Right.
or period, but it felt natural to be wandering around through the monuments of the battlefields of Gettysburg and and stuff like that. It's different, and that's why I was just curious if there was any correlation between dream state and like you said, you're living all your lives at one time, past, present, future. If there was any correlation between the two, that's why I was curious.
I would think so. My feeling is if it feels natural, if it feels familiar, then it's probably you're interacting with a different lifetime.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Whew,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna be very enlightened by the time we're done. So I'm just getting started.
Are you
Another
going to
one.
sleep tonight? Is your brain going
No,
to be
if
asleep?
I do, it'll be an amazing one. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I wanted to have this conversation with you for a while because we definitely connected very well the first time that we did one of these, and it was an amazing experience. Something else that I find very fascinating is remote viewing, and I know that there are
Yes.
several people who know how to do that. I don't do it. At least I don't think I do. But I mean, I could be mistaken. It could be through dream state. I'm not really sure. But could you explain remote viewing to me so I get
Yeah.
an understanding?
Remote viewing is when you can go into a deep meditation. It's while you're awake, usually, and you can send your consciousness somewhere else to see or experience something else. Okay,
Okay.
so it's a it's a form of meditation, but it's a very deep meditation where you can see things in real time. Years ago, I had a friend who was doing a new presentation, and he was really nervous about it. And we were living in different states. And he's like, "Could you just pop in and see how I'm doing, see if it makes sense?" And I'm like, "Sure, when and where?" And I was able to do that right down to I called him the next day and told him his tie didn't match his shirt. So, that was one of the like I could see him doing his presentation, and I could
Right.
hear him like I was standing at the back of the room listening.
Oh wow. Hi Morgan.
"Hey, Morgan. Hey, Nate. Hey, Lisa."
What's going on, guys? I mean, I know that there's a lot of people who know how to do remote viewing, and
Mhm.
I was curious because how it works, and it's through meditation is
It's
basically.
through a meditation technique. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you teach all. I'm sure you teach a lot about meditation techniques. That's for
I
sure.
do, yeah, I've been teaching meditation for a long time.
That's amazing. With another one. So soul retrieval was another course another class that you teach.
Yes.
What is that all about? That one really caught my eye as one that I needed to ask about.
Yeah, soul retrieval is, one that I really like,
Okay.
and I really like doing it because it's a very strong healing modality. But it can also let me back up half a step. As we go through life, our soul kind of fractures here and there. So, um, just leaning towards a more positive way. Let's say you go on an incredible vacation, and when you get back to your normal life, you just keep thinking about the vacation, and you can't, it's like you can't get back into life. It's
Right.
because you left part of your soul on vacation.
Okay.
So, going back and or calling your soul back to you and just going, "Okay, come on, time to come home." And it really can be that easy. Time to come home, bring your soul back. It can be that easy. It can also be more complicated. Let's say someone has childhood trauma, and it's really affecting their life today. I can take them into a guided meditation or a hypnotic state because I am a certified hypnotist. I can take them into a hypnotic state to go back and take their child out of that situation and bring that inner child home with them to
Oh
make
wow.
themselves more whole and to heal that process.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So
Yeah, it's very powerful.
a follow-up question for that. Then I'm sure grief and the loss of like loved ones, and like
Yes.
for me particular, I'm just going to use myself as an example so I can explain better. When I lost my father 2 years ago to complications of strokes, and I feel like I lost a piece of me while I was in the process of grieving him, and I don't think I've ever gotten that part back to me again.
Okay.
Is that basically? I mean, in the similar thing, like because you is that like kind of along the same guidelines as far as like if you fractured like a piece of you was fractured off and you just was never able to come back to.
It is. And losing someone very close to us changes us. We're never the same person again.
Mm.
I lost my son 3.5 years ago.
Oh,
And that's, I don't believe I will ever be the person I was the day before. You know,
right.
I don't believe I ever will be. Um, Part of that this gets into like multi-layered psychology stuff, but one of the reasons that we feel like we lost a part of ourselves when someone we love passes on is that we don't want to. necessarily let go of them, or
Right.
there's a guilt factor about taking all of ourselves back. We feel like part of us needs to go with them.
Okay.
Does that
That-
make sense the
It,
way I
it does
said
make a
that?
lot of sense.
Okay.
I had to ask because it was the first question that popped up into my head when you were talking about leaving a piece of yours on a positive side. I wanted to know
Yeah.
if there was if it was on the flip side too, and you lose a piece during a negative
Oh,
or
yeah,
side
absolutely.
too.
Absolutely, you can lose a piece of yourself during a negative, um, situation, experience.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
can leave part of yourself there. Sometimes part of yourself goes away for safekeeping. Let's say in the, situation of, an act of violence, where part of yourself just checks out, just
Okay.
goes somewhere else for safekeeping, and you can
Right.
bring that part back. I had a very violent childhood, and this is where I learned how to do this, was going through that recovery period that I talked about in early sobriety,
Right.
and healing that inner child. I couldn't leave part of my child in that situation and heal myself at the same time. I
Okay.
had to go get her. I
Makes
had to go
sense.
get her and bring her back at multiple ages.
Okay.
So there's that's how that works, and that's why it's such a powerful tool, because you can literally remove that wounded part of your soul from that situation and bring it back to you to heal it in the present.
Wow. That's amazing. Didn't mean
It
to take it down such a sensitive boulevard, but it was just something that
No,
was
that's
you
fine.
know
I have done the work, so that's why I'm not sitting here crying in front of you, because I've done the work and I understand the mechanisms that make it
right.
work.
I can feel it just by
Yeah.
talking to you. It's so another thing I'd like to get into because I really do connect with them elementals.
Yes.
You do work with elementals,
I
right?
have worked with elementals, yes, particularly at Broadhead Manor. I worked with the elementals there. Um, when my son passed away, I had his memorial at Broadhead Manor. So, Bill was gracious enough to allow me to do that there, and Bill knew him too, they had connected. So, when I went there prior to setting it up, I hadn't been there before, that was my first time, was to go there and talk to Bill to set this up, and I noticed an elemental on each end of the building. So, I looked at Bill and I'm like, "Elementals?" He said, "Yes." I said, "2." He said, "Yes." And I talked to both of them and asked them, you know, "We're going to be bringing a wide variety of people into this building. Please just take care of them. Please make it a safe space for everybody,
Right.
because they're there to protect that building. That's
Exactly.
why they're there." And so I wanted to make sure that they knew, everyone's grieving, and I just want them to be okay in their grief and not have to worry about any weird energies going on.
Oh,
And
okay.
they did. And I also made an offering to the Native American elders on that land. So, yeah.
Oh wow, that's a two for one powerful special between the Native American and the elementals because
Yeah.
you know. So when you interacted with the elementals, do you feel that like when you have contact with an elemental, it's way different than when you have contact with a human spirit? Obviously,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
the first time I had encountered an elemental was on a ship during a paranormal investigation, and that was
Wow.
yeah a water elemental, and whew, very strong, very deliberate. No emotion in the answers. I mean, when you talk to human spirits, you get a lot of emotion from how they feel and
Right.
in their responses. But when you talk to an elemental, very precise, very just no
To the
emotion,
point. Yeah.
very
To
to
the
the
point.
point.
Yeah.
And then like I actually encountered one at the Conjuring House years later,
Okay.
and there was another water on because that's actually built on an underground water. There's like an underground water on the property, and you actually there's a spirit that lives on the land, and I interacted with that in the Conjuring House, and that was crazy. And I
Wow.
just like, were the elementals tied to the property, or were they tied to the house? The ones or the actual building? Were they attached to the building, or the land,
I think it's both.
or were they both?
Yeah, I think it's both. Yeah,
Oh,
but they really protect that building, so, if I had to choose, I'd say they're connected to the building. Bill might disagree with me, I don't know, but he knows them better than I do.
that's okay. I mean, another thing that I've actually noticed that I can kind of do on my own, aura readings, like
Yes.
seeing people's auras, and what the different colors, and um. So how do you go about teaching aura, aura reading classes?
That's an interesting one in that not everybody sees. Some
Right,
people hear, some people sense, some people know,
right,
there's all the different clairs. So I teach it based on who's in the class and who can see, who can hear, who can sense, who can know, that kind of thing, just to pay attention to how it works for you. But
right,
basically what we would do is we would have each person stand against a blank wall and have everyone else just kind of let your eyes go out of focus and see or hear, you know, the name of a color or whatever that evolves around them that we can
oh
see.
well,
Yeah.
that's cool. Like, I I can pick up on people's auras, like, with if I'm at like conventions, or if I'm on an
Yeah.
investigation. If somebody asks me and I actually tune in, I can actually see the different colors. I can see if there's like trouble spots on a person, and try to help them. But
Yeah.
it varies. It depends on however sensitive I am that day. I guess it's weird. It varies like that.
It depends also on the environment you're in and the person you're reading.
I mean, that's true too. I mean, if I don't do it all the time. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
And
As far as teaching it though, that's how I taught people how to tune into auras was to have each person stand in front of a blank, usually a white or off-white wall
yeah,
and see what shows up.
that's a great idea. You can't get better than having a white wall to actually see what's going on behind somebody.
Right. Right. And
It's a-
some people hear the name of the color.
okay.
Rather than seeing it, they'll hear the name of the color.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Another one that I really, um, astral and interdimensional travel.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, it's a heavy one, but it's something that I find very interesting because I have astral projected once or twice.
Okay.
Could you get into some detail on interdimensional travel, and as far as like a class? Yeah.
As far as teaching it,
Yeah.
yeah, that's an advanced class. That is not something I can do with people who've never meditated,
Right.
because that's a pretty advanced class. But it's allowing yourself to get to a state of relaxation where your consciousness can leave your body and go exploring, basically, out into
Yeah.
the universe. Some people see it, and again, it's different for everybody. Some people see it as a grid that they walk out and stand on,
Yeah.
with different grid points, and I forget the word now. It's such an easy word too, and I forgot it, but whatever.
That's okay.
Standing on the grid. For some people, it's going where they're drawn to go. I have taken classes to different classes in different dimensions where they're teaching metaphysical classes and different dimensions, and we connect with another class, or an interdimensional marketplace we went into one time that was, I don't know where, it was like walking into a Star Wars scene. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, that's how I teach that. It's really a deep meditation and allowing your spirit to have the freedom to wander, but still coming back. So, some people see it as like a silver cord so
Okay.
that you can come back. Um, I think most people probably have been taught to see it that way. Like you leave a cord connected to your body so you find your way back.
Okay. That definitely makes sense, especially when you're astral projecting. You don't want to get too far away and never not be able to come back
Right. Not
to
be able to
reality.
find your way home. Yeah.
The first time I astral projected, it freaked me out, and I only hovered above my body, and maybe for not long at all. But when it actually happened, and yeah, it freaked me out pretty good the first time. I've only done it like a couple of times, but that was definitely one that was a bit harder to deal with, I think. Because so I've got one or two more, and then we'll move on to a different topic. I just
Yeah.
find these classes amazing, and
Well, thank you.
automatic writing has always been something that I find fascinating because I don't do it. I mainly go on my senses when I go in, and usually I get a chance to connect right off the bat. Can you
Right.
explain automatic writing to me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading Jason's
I feel
comment there.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Automatic writing for me has actually my entire book, Wisdom for the Age of Ascension, was written automatically. So, and it was all pen to paper and then typed into the computer because I do better pen to paper with
right,
automatic writing. It's something about the way the pen moves and all. It's a better connection for me. Not everyone feels that way, and that's fine. Whatever works for you. But I just get quiet, and sometimes I'll just write a question at the top of the page. And this is the way I teach the class. Let's write a question at the top of the page, and then just put the pen on the paper, and when a word pops into your head, write it down. Where a lot of us get caught up is that we are trying to put complete thoughts together before we put it on paper,
right.
and that slows us down. So
Okay,
just a word or two at a time, and it comes right out. It just comes right out. It does take practice,
right.
but this is not something I do on investigations, though. I've
No,
never done it on investigations.
I know some psychic mediums actually do automatic writings at
Yeah.
investigations and haunted locations, and I've seen some of the results, just absolutely fascinating. But you wrote a
Yeah.
whole book based on just automatic writings, which is
Right.
even
Just
more.
a little bit a day. Yeah.
That's all it takes, just a little bit every day, right?
Yep. Yep.
But the last course I want to cover is animal spirit totems. Something that I love animals. I'm definitely in touch with the animal. And so tell me about that course.
Okay. So animal spirit totems is how do I teach that? God, it's probably been a couple of years since I've even taught that one. Um, but the way that I do it is I help people connect with their spirit guides.
Okay.
And I have native ancestry, which I think is what kind of draws me to the animals first. I
Right.
will often see the animal spirits before I'll see like their human spirit guides or whatever. I'll see
Gotcha.
the animals first. Um, Getting in touch with the animals, you can kind of tell what your spirit totem is, your animal spirit totem is,
Mhm.
not based on what animal you like, but what your characteristics are. So my animal spirit totem is a skunk. So what is it about skunks? They're all energy based.
Yeah.
They only have one enemy, and that's a great horned owl because it can't smell it. And they give 3 warnings before they spray.
Oh wow.
And I'm a pretty patient person. I'll
Yeah.
give people probably more chances than they deserve.
Absolutely.
Um, and I pretty much get along with people very well. I don't have, if I have enemies, I'm not aware of them, and I'm fine with that.
Right.
You know? Maybe an X or two, but that's everybody.
That's the way the cookie crumbles on that one. That's for
That's
sure.
the way the cookie crumbles on that one for sure. Um, but yeah, so those are characteristics that I carry that also a skunk carries.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah. So, and I've only met like maybe a handful of other people who have skunk as a spirit totem. But
That's definitely a rare one. I mean, mine's usually the owl. Sometimes it fluctuates between the bear and the owl, depending on the circumstance.
right,
Because definitely very protective, and the owl. I've always been drawn to the owl with their wisdom and trying to, and the search for knowledge and stuff like that is definitely
right. and
help.
owls can see in the dark, right? So they have great
Yeah.
night vision. Well, turn that over to if you're a seer spiritually,
Right.
that makes absolute sense because you can see things other people can't.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So all these wonderful classes and more, because I only wrote down the ones that I really wanted to ask you about, are all available on your website for you, for them
Yes.
for people to be able to contact you, right?
Right. I believe they're under the services tab.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that's KristinaBloom.com. Is
Yep.
that what
KristinaBloom.com.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears now, and we'll get into your current podcast, Paramystic Podcast. So
Yes.
tell me what brought on the beginnings of the Paramystic Podcast.
Well, I had done other podcasting. Uh, I had a couple of other shows. I had one with my son called The Paranormal Room. I had Be the Change, both of those on WLTK-DB, which is now no longer in existence. But the word paramystic
Yeah.
came from a gentleman in England contacted me and wanted me to have a radio show on his station and said, I'm like, okay, what do you want me to talk about? And he's like, I don't care, just talk. I'm like, all right. Apparently he liked my voice. I don't know. So I was like, all right, so what do I want to talk about? I know it's a paranormal kind of radio station,
Yeah.
but I also like the mystical side and the spiritual side. And it just came to me, paranormal and mystical is paramystic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and the show never materialized as far as that gentleman goes. We're still friends, but the show never materialized. And I started doing it just on my own on YouTube. And then Rez found Gwen, and then Gwen and I started working together, and here we are.
So how long has the Paramystic Podcast been on the air?
A couple of years.
A couple of years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it strictly for the All Access Network?
Nope. I had it on my own YouTube channel first. So,
and then you brought it over here, and
right. It started out Paramystic Kristina, and then I changed it to Paramystic Podcast with Kristina Bloom.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you had another one was like Breakfast with Bobby at one point.
Yeah, we had Breakfast with Bobby, where my friend Bobby and I were doing it, but we had a deal when we started it that when it wasn't fun anymore, we were going to stop doing it. And it just kind of reached the point where it was more work than fun. So we decided we're going to stop doing it now.
That's I'm hoping that it never hits that point for me. I love doing this.
I do too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun being able to bring content to people. It's a lot of fun having conversations with wonderful people like yourself, and being able to be on a network as fun as the All Access Network has been. I mean, I've only been here since January, and it's been an amazing experience, no doubt.
Yeah, great people here. I love it.
So you have a co-host, Glenn, right?
Glenn Bottis. Yes, he's a part-time co-host.
Tell me a little bit about Glenn and how you guys got together. And
well, we were introduced by so gosh, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. I wrote I wrote a chapter in an anthology, and that anthology was published by a friend of his, and his friend's gift is connecting people who need to connect.
Oh, wow.
And he introduced us to each other online. We worked together online for 2 years. And then last year I went to England and we connected there and did a TV show. So yeah, Glenn is an amazing spiritual medium.
Okay.
He's a very spiritual person, a very gifted person. He's got books. He's a musician. He's a drummer in a rock band. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his own right, but we work together very well and decided we just like working together.
It's very cool because I mean I caught a little bit of your show this morning. I try to catch it when I go on my lunch because it's around the time where I usually try to grab my lunch at work. And today you were talking about healing the healers.
Healing the healers. Yeah.
That was an amazing topic. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because just in case anybody missed it earlier, I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I actually have my notes about it right here.
Cool. I find it
Yeah.
intriguing.
Well, a lot of times, people who are healers in any respect give so much of their own energy away that they don't save it for themselves.
Okay.
And then healers get sick because they didn't save any energy, or they're not focusing their energy on themselves. They're focusing it to other people.
Right.
And so we can get depleted. We can get physically sick. We can get depressed. We can have all kinds of stuff going on because we're not taking care of ourselves. We're taking care of other people and not doing anything for us. So
Okay.
this was really kind of a bringing it back around to, how do I keep some of that for myself, or how do I focus that energy to myself as a healer? And when I need help, do I reach out to other people?
Nice.
Do I reach out to other healers? And that's really what the program was about. And just acknowledging too that regardless of what kind of extraordinary abilities anybody might have,
Right.
we're all still wearing a human suit. And we all still have to deal with all the things that come along with wearing a human suit.
That is true. That is
Yeah.
really true.
Yeah. So dealing with having a human experience while also helping others, that's the
Oh, yeah,
whole
there it is.
Yeah.
I love that. That is probably one of the best posters I have seen of
I
yours
agree.
so far. I love the contrast of the blues and the purples and the greens together. It really it just pops right on the page.
Yeah. And thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Gwen, for doing that.
She is
Yeah.
amazing. She is the the machine behind everybody's stuff, and
She
all the
really
work
is.
she does. She never gets, in my mind, the amount of proper credit that she deserves for all the hard work that she puts in.
Agreed.
Week in, week out. I talk to her daily. I must drive her crazy with the amount of times I call her and talk to her through text and whatnot, because you of course, Gwen, anytime, hon. She is so good at what she does, and she makes us so
really
much
is.
better than we are normally, because
Yes, she
I
does.
don't know. I can't do any of the posters and the videos, and she knows I'll be hunting her down tomorrow from my next week guest, because I'm like, go. The next morning I want to start promoting for next week's show, and I'm always I don't stop. I'm like just a ball of energy.
Yes, you are.
Whether I want it to be or not, honestly, Kristina, I can't help it. But
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. You've now trained me, because by Friday night I'm thinking about, what do I need to get to Jeremy?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That was
No, it's good. It's good, because otherwise I just forget about it.
It's so cool, because I'm going to promote Wicked Wednesday right now, because we're talking about when Nate and I first started talking about co-promoting each other, and then he came up with the name Wicked Wednesday, and then we put the video together, and then we started talking, and then we brought you into the loop, because you were all part on the same day, and then we've just recently brought in Shane within the last month, and we have such a strong team of shows in the entire day. This day between your show and then bridging the seen and unseen earlier with his guest, the actor, I forget, David, and then Nate had J.W. Walker on earlier, and then I'm getting the opportunity to bring you to prime time, so people get a chance to see you, because maybe they don't get a chance to see you earlier in the day.
Right.
And it's my honor to have you on tonight with me, so that people can actually get to hear about all the amazing things that you do.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I think that we have a great crew on Wednesday. It's diverse, but it all makes sense.
Right. Right.
We start off with the paramystic and the metaphysical, and then it just feeds its way in, and then it goes through bridging the unseen, and then it goes to paranormal unveiled, and then we end up with Twisted Tales at the end, which God only knows what direction my show can go. It can go in any direction it wants to, because that's what Twisted Tales is all about.
Right.
I think that we have a great crew of people, and we're always bouncing ideas off of one another. But we have our own chat group going on, which is amazing too. And I
Yeah.
think it's helped strengthen the network as a whole.
I
In my
think it has too. I think it has too.
you know
It's, I've got people who are um, like Wednesdays, they know my show's on Wednesday morning and they're tuning in. And the way that it appears, whether it's recorded or not, it shows up as a live show.
yeah,
So people are commenting as if it's a live show. But with Glenn, because of the 6-hour time difference and the scheduling conflicts,
right.
that one's always recorded. So
Well, it
people,
has to be
yeah.
the time difference is just impossible. You
Right,
know,
exactly. So that one's always recorded, but people respond to it as if it's happening live, which I
it's
think is
amazing.
pretty cool. Yeah.
It really is cool, and you know what? I think that what we've done is starting to spill out to other days, and everybody's strengthening their shows. That we have a great core of shows during the course of the week. It's only getting stronger and better every single time, and I think everybody does an amazing job on the network from the beginning of the week to the end of the week, and it's only going to get better and better. I think
I agree. I
it, it,
agree.
it's really cool. My God. So do you have any upcoming appearances that you're going to be at, like any kind of events that you're going to be at coming up that
Yeah,
people might want to come out and see?
this weekend in DeKalb, Illinois, I'm going to be at Witches and Wellness Festival. So it's
Oh wow,
yeah, and I'll be speaking twice actually because I'm doing a séance, but I'm also speaking on protecting your energy.
that's
And
amazing.
I will be available for readings otherwise
That is
at my
so
booth.
cool.
Yeah. So
One of these days, if we're ever in person, I'd love to get a reading from you in person. And I don't do readings normally. I usually am very protective about who I would actually allow to read me, but I definitely would do one if we were in person again, because we actually had
absolutely.
the fortunate time to meet each other in Salem earlier this
We did.
year. You
That
you
was
were
fun.
you were traveling across country with your friend and going to a bunch of amazing places that you were telling us about on
Yeah.
your road trip, and then we all met up with Raven and got to have breakfast up in Salem, and it was really cool to get a chance to actually bring people together.
It was. It was. Yeah.
It was
And I have to tell y'all, I had no idea he's as big as he is.
who me.
Yes, you. He's very tall and he's very broad-shouldered and he's
You're like
yeah,
you can tell, but you can't tell. It's
yeah,
from my former, just being a big guy my entire life.
yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, and it was so great to meet you in person, because
Likewise.
we've talked on camera and we talked through Messenger, but never had a chance to actually be in person. And it was really cool to have breakfast in an amazing place like Salem, and then go out and go explore the town and all the craziness that place has to offer.
Oh
You know,
yeah, absolutely. That's a crazy place. Yeah.
it
I've been
really
there
is.
several times now and it's really I see something different every time I'm there.
Oh yeah, I mean I love places like the graveyard that's tied to the Witch Memorial. That's like one of my favorite hot spots to just walk around in the paths in the cemetery, and just the energy in there is just amazing. You
It
know.
is. It is.
So something I always wind up with, and I know that because we've covered such a broad amount of topics, is I mean I usually do like, I don't know if you like watch horror movies, or if you're into the genre. Probably not.
Not horror.
No, not horror. Okay, it's
Fantasy.
cool. Fantasy. And
Yeah.
that's cool. We'll flip the script a little bit because we always do. How about your Mount Rushmore of fantasy characters? Then I could definitely
Okay.
I could go for that.
The Goblin King
That's
from
pretty.
Labyrinth.
Yeah,
Absolutely the Goblin King. Um, I can see them. What are they called? Ah, my brain just shut down.
it's okay.
Um, okay, so she's like an astronomer. It's a Muppet thing.
The Dark
I can't
Crystal.
remember. the dark crystal, the lady with the big telescope, and she has like all these stuff that
Yeah.
she carries around.
Yep,
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see her. Yeah. The Dark Crystal is an amazing fantasy.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. So those two, and then also Ludo from the Labyrinth, the
Yep.
big hairy guy. Yep,
Yeah,
love
yeah,
Ludo.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know that I could come up with more than that.
Well, yeah, it's okay because
Yeah.
I mean, the fantasy genre is amazing. It depends on, do you go wizardry with like Harry Potter, or do you go through like the Lord of the Rings thing if you're going through fantasy as well, or if you stick to like the Labyrinth or the Dark Crystal. I always found the lady with the eyeball kind of creepy. She was
That's what I'm talking about, though. She's still one of my favorite characters. She's
yeah.
creepy as hell, but yeah, she's
It's amazing how they take those two big like the creatures and they mold them together at the end and they become like the one big creature and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff. You know,
yeah.
I know they did it. I know that I think they remade the Dark Crystal a few years ago, but it's
Did they?
I'm not sure. I thought that they did, but I know that the OG is probably definitely where I will always go back to because I
Right.
saw that in the theater when I was a kid and it was really cool. You know.
Yeah.
Well, it's been wonderful having you on this evening and getting a chance to introduce you to the evening part of Wicked Wednesdays. And, I hope that everybody goes and checks out your website, all the amazing services and all the amazing classes that you offer, your 2 books that you have out, the Intuitive You, the Psychic and Personal Development, as well as Wisdom for the Ages of the Ascension. I believe the 2 books that you have out
Those
there.
are the 2 books that are out on my website. Yes.
Go to KristinaBloom.com, and sign up to see some classes. And she's an amazing person, and I guarantee you, she will not steer you in the wrong direction. She's. It's been an amazing evening. Thank you very much for coming on to the show this evening.
Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
It has been an amazing experience. It's my pleasure to have you here. For Kristina Bloom, I'm Jeremy Cotter. This is Twisted Tales. Gwen, take us home.